Rolling? All right, guys, you good? All right, front kick to the groin from your good fighting stance. Either, hey, stay away, or you're actively in the fight, right? Drive through the person. Your knee is leading. You're driving right up. I like to think, split them right in half. From here, drive through. Instep, all right, is your second. Your shin is number one, right? Most people will try to kick with their foot. If you aim with your shin, you're making your weapon longer. People move away from things coming at them, so if you aim with your shin, right, you have a longer weapon when they do decide to move over or move away. So make sure, right, you're hitting with your shin primarily, right? Instep is second. Make sure your hip is a good teaching point for you guys. From here, if somebody is kicking, I'm going to try to... Now you see that hip is not into the kick, right? It's really common, and you'll see different degrees of how forward somebody is in that hip, not coming forward and driving into that front kick. Make sure you're coming back to your good fight stance. Questions there? Questions teaching?
You did a good job explaining it, but the word itself, driving forward, I run into people and they don't understand what I mean when I try to explain drive forward. So how do you explain that?
So there is your front kick, or like a snap front kick, might be called in some martial arts, or like it's touch, like you're snapping. Like, hey, I can't even do it with my shin. I like have to do it with my instep. Like, it's that. I'm just got a little quick snap in there. Not that that's not gonna hurt, right? The primary Krav Maga front kick is driving through, like you're driving into them, right? I don't want to just touch him. I want to penetrate and drive through the target. It's like breaking a board. It's like knocking on a door versus punching through that board or that door, right? I tell kids all the time, you're knocking on glass, like, hey, can I come in on a window and a door? That's knocking, and boom, now you punch the window out. Don't do that, you're gonna cut your hand. That's how, a couple of the ways I'll do it. Does anybody else have any way they do it? Right. That snap kick, they just, usually when they see that, like, hey, look, this is a snap kick, and this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to drive in to the target. And that's opposite of the class the other day we put up on your chest, that I'm going to throw a straight punch here versus that punch that's pushing the punch. They'll get in there and they'll hit hard and they'll add a little extra. They're in there and there's just this extra push. It's not a push. It's, the front kick, you're driving through the target. There is no extra, like, kind of push, which will happen in straight punches versus, somebody asked just yesterday, don't I want to, do that? I'm like, no, you're overextending yourself. You're tending to overextend the punch versus, just punch him. Just punch him versus pushing in. That's super common, too, to tie into that.
Your knee, do you say chamber your knee and send the kick?
Sure.
Can you talk about your knee a little bit? Like
I'm dry, like the foot is here, but now my knee is coming up, leading, it's aiming. Right? If my front kick, right, boom, the knees come, it's not in front, right? And it's more common the other way. We'll change the other way so they can see it, the camera can see. That if my knee in this is going that way, you're going to miss. My knee is coming straight up in front. It's my aim and driving through. Right? Sometimes when people chamber and then they start to do real martial arty thing, like the knee's aiming, my knee's coming up, and then I'm driving the lower leg through.
And always remind them to keep their hands up as they kick, or not focus on that. Just
yes and no. Yeah, I mean, they need to. You want to keep that good fight position. Like dropping your hand you know, is super common in martial arts in there, but now your tools way down there. The Krav Maga, the best thing John Whitman's ever said on this one that I got from him like years after I learned front kick was keep them somewhere in between you and the person. This is down. This is down, which you'll see a lot of. You know, just keep them somewhere in this zone, and you are in front kick range. You're not in clinch range, right? You're not in punch range unless you're with that giant kid, and somebody could come reach out and touch you when you think you're in front kick range, but that dude's in straight punch range, right? Like having that fight, you know, and sizing up your partner, right, is part of fighting. Of going, whoa, this person's really tall, long. I need to be further away from this person because they can get me, all right, before I can get them. Questions there?
No, it's something different. Are you leaning at all in that kick to get that hip more into it?
There's a slight, I hate to say it to beginners, but from here, slow. You know, I'm not, and this is where you'll have people stay too upright. They're here, and then they try to front kick, and they're too upright. You know, if I'm in here, now I'm going to deploy a front kick. I'm coming back, you know, might be in this type of fight stance here. You might be here, wherever, but as we're in here, we're braced here. Now you're trying to throw that front kick and stay all braced. It looks terrible. You're going to have to come back just a little bit with it. It's something I don't like to tell people, but bring your hip forward. When they bring their hip forward, see where my body is. But you tell them lean back a little bit. Do backwards fall first, and then tell them to lean back on their front kick and that. And if you really want them to fall, teach them axe kicks, and they'll fall on their ass. I did. Like my first, right after I learned axe kick, I went for an axe kick and I fell on my ass. In there. Anything there?